Well, first of all, I want to thank you all for being here today. The safety of our community, and especially our children, is the #1 priority of everyone you see here. We're all working together on this. I'd like to introduce our Sheriff, Chad Chronister, our Tampa Police Chief, Brian Dugan, our Plant City Police Chief, Ed Duncan, our State Attorney, Andrew Warren. I'd also like to introduce our school board members joining us today. Our Chair of our school board, Ms. Sally Harris, our Vice Chair, Ms. Tamara Schamberger, School Board Member Cindy Stewart, and School Board Member Susan Valdez. I'd also like to introduce the leadership of our security force in our school district, Chief John Newman, formerly the second in command at Tampa Police Department, as well as Captain Zamir O'Day. I'd also like to introduce 3 school security officers that you'll see back here to my left. Corporal Anna Anderson, a reservist in the United States Air Force. Officer Craig Douglas, a reservist in both the Tampa Police Department and the U.S. military. Officer David Weaver Rogers, a retired officer from the Tampa Police Department who served 25 years on the force. Combined, they have more than 50 years of service to our schools, our community, and our country. These are 3 of the 119 school security officers already working in our schools right now, already protecting our students and staff. Our school security program is currently unique in Florida and has been in place for 49 years. The new public safety law passed by the legislature requires us to take several steps. The step that we're discussing today directs the sheriff to work with the superintendent and position an armed, trained first responder at every public school. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you our sheriff for Hillsborough County, Sheriff Chad Chronister.
Thank you, Superintendent Eakins and members of the school board for being such a great partner and always ensuring that the safety and security of our children are always a top priority. I said with the passing of the recent school safety legislation that I was opposed to arming our educators and our school staff. Teachers who already have so many responsibilities should not be burdened with becoming tactical operators as well. Their focus should remain on educating our children. Working closely with my Sheriff's Office staff, along with our school district partners, I am confident that we have developed a comprehensive security plan that focuses on student safety, maximizes shared resources, and works within the financial framework allocated by the state. In Hillsborough County, we are light years ahead of most Florida counties because we already staff every middle and high school with a deputy sheriff or police officer, as well as 40 of our elementary schools. We also have the unique benefit of a long and cherished partnership with the school district, who has an established school security force, who assists with staffing at multiple school campuses to include every special needs and alternative school, where they are solely responsible for campus security. In our new school safety plan, all middle and high schools currently staffed by a school resource deputy or officer will not be affected. Our plan for the 176 elementary and charter schools within our county is to staff them with sheriff's trained school security personnel. Why is our plan ideal for student safety? Our plan mandates that all school security personnel complete a comprehensive background check and an intensive psychological testing, which is already a requirement for school security personnel. 2/3 of the school security force are retired law enforcement officers and bring a wealth of institutional knowledge. And 1/3 are retired military personnel with a vast background of professional training. As you can see, school security are trained well beyond the scope and requirements of security guards. With that being said, regardless of background, every school security officer will have to successfully complete 132 hours of comprehensive training by Sheriff's Office instructors prior to staffing any school. These school security personnel are governed and held accountable by Hillsborough County Public Schools Professional Standards Section. Obviously, hiring and training as expeditious as we will be, implementation will not occur overnight. Each agency made difficult decisions and sacrifices to ensure there is a deputy or police officer in each school within their jurisdiction who will also receive extensive training from my office. These deputies and officers are a temporary solution until we can supplement staffing with school security personnel and return the deputies and officers to their normal duty assignment. I am acutely aware of the hardship this endeavor places on every agency and would like to personally thank Mayor Bob Buckhorn, the Tampa Police Department, Chief Brian Dugan, Mayor Rick Lott, the Plant City Department, and Chief Ed Duncan for their willingness to work with us. This is certainly a sensible and a more timely solution. Inevitably, the question of funding this project is at the forefront of everyone's mind. Our plan is a cost-effective way to provide a safe environment for our children while meeting our obligations. For a more detailed discussion of the funding aspect, I'll ask Superintendent Eakins to return back to the podium.
Thank you, Sheriff Chronister. Under the new law, the state increased our budget for school security by about $6 million. This program allows us to hire officers for every one of our elementary schools, plus supervisors, all within that budget. To do it a different way, by adding police officers or sheriff's deputies, would it cost our district and this community an additional $12 million. In a time when the level of funding for education from the state continues to present challenges for our district and our schools, this plan is right for our community. It allows us to spend more money in our classrooms and schools while providing a proven high-level security force. Every student has a right to learn in a safe place. Thank you for putting your trust in us to provide the safe learning environment as we're preparing our students for life. This is a team effort across our whole community, including our state attorney, Andrew Warren. I'll ask him to come up and share a few words with us. Andrew?
Good morning. First, I want to praise Sheriff Chronister and his team, along with Superintendent Eakins and the school board, for their leadership on the issue of school safety. There is nothing more important than the safety of our community, and especially that of our children. Following the Parkland tragedy, we've been working together to find additional solutions to make our schools even safer. I've been talking with the superintendent, Sheriff Chronister, and other law enforcement officials, students, parents, and community leaders every step of the way. Today's announcement regarding school safety officers is an important first step, but it's the beginning of a conversation. There's going to be more to come. I want to make sure our community knows that our agencies are working together to make our schools as safe as possible. We're working together to implement the new school safety law. We're working together to identify additional steps needed to protect our children while maintaining a positive learning environment. And we're working together to make sure that the community's voice is heard. Hearing from students and parents and teachers is vital to this conversation. We're not going to solve these challenges in a day or in a week, or even by implementing one specific bill. Instead, we must take a broad approach that is centered on a long-term commitment to our students. These initial steps today represent a down payment on that commitment. And although meeting these challenges is going to take time and effort and resources, I'm here to let the community know that these agencies are working together and are fully committed to protecting our students. Sheriff Chronister, thank you again for your leadership on this issue and for your partnership in keeping our community safe. Thank you.
Really appreciate those words, Andrew. We'll now take a few questions, and then reporters, you can come and talk to some of our school security officers that we have here today in one-on-one conversations, but at this time, we'll be glad to take any questions from you.
Yeah, just to understand the mechanics from the written material, it seems that there will be sworn law enforcement temporarily to be replaced by the school district's own security forces as they are trained up and ready. I mean, if you could kind of break down the timeline a little bit.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, the timeline is extremely fluid. There's 132 hours of training that will have to be completed after they go through this extensive background intensive psychological testing. After that is completing, I know that Chief John Newman and Superintendent Eakins is working diligently as possible. We'll try to fill those positions. And until then, each agency represented here today has made a commitment to allocate resources to make sure that every school, every charter school, every elementary school is covered by either a police officer or a deputy sheriff. We will backfill them as they go. My office will conduct the training as often and frequently as it needs to be trained, needs to be completed to get them trained and return these officers, these deputy sheriffs, back to their jurisdiction, back to their normal job assignments.
Okay, so existing sworn law enforcement officers first, and then as the new officers are trained, they replace, and then the sworn law enforcement, they go back to their duties.
That's correct.
Awesome, thank you.
Well, you have every district right now looking to do the same thing when it comes to hiring and to find the qualified people and to get them trained. I mean, what is the challenge that you face to get enough of the qualified people in?
It's certainly a challenge. I think that there's some great benefits that come with working with the school district. I think people will immediately identify with that. I think it's a great opportunity. I think a lot of these people who are retired law enforcement, retired military, would envy the opportunity to protect our young children, to work in an elementary school and be able to work with these children. I think that attracts. It's attractive in itself.
What is your ideal candidate, if you had to describe them?
I think someone with a passion for service. Someone who understands the significance and the priority of making our children safe. They will not have any other responsibility than to make sure that our students are safe, and we will make sure that they're trained to make sure they can minimize or defeat any type of active shooter assailant that would ever or should ever occur here in Hillsborough County.
And also, these new officers who will be hired and trained, technically, will they be coming in through the state's guardian?
That's correct. We are electing to participate in the state's Guardian program. As much as I'm opposed to arming our educators, there's a unique reality here in Hillsborough County with almost a 40-year established agency with school security personnel that we can take advantage of. There's that accountability, there's going to be the training, and I feel comfortable with they are going to provide the level of professionalism, safety, and security to keep our children safe.
And one more question, numbers, by my math, it's a little more than 100 of these individuals that will need to come in?
101, so you're exactly right. 176 with current school security personnel that they're reallocating to make elementary schools a priority. We will be able to fill 101 positions.
Thank you.
Something that I would like to make note, the Sheriff's Office has 238 openings. Our county commission has always been so supportive of our endeavors at the Sheriff's Office. We are going to use some of that funding to hire retired deputy sheriffs, retired law enforcement personnel on a 10-month contract to help us offset the burden that it would take from the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, some of the priority initiatives that we want to keep intact. We won't be able to completely fill every position, I'm sure of that, but it will certainly help us take a great step in the right direction of allowing some of the priority initiatives that some departments will have to vacate. We will be able to fill those with hopefully some of these contracted, 10-month contracted retired law enforcement officers.
Also, this first wave of law enforcement officers, will some of them come from Tampa Police Department, Plain City Police, and Temple Terrace Police, or will they all be Hillsborough County Sheriff?
They can come from any facet, any retired law enforcement office. And our goal will be to fill Plant City, Temple Terrace, and the Tampa Police Department, and then the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office.
No, but the first ones that will need to come on board until you can hire up.
Yes, each municipality, each chief of police here represented, each mayor has agreed to help us out until we can get these individuals hired, trained, and replaced at the school.
As you pull those deputies and officers to fill those spots, what is the impact to public safety?
I think I'm hoping that we can minimize the impact. I think that we have a shared plan, and the goal is going to be to try to remove personnel from non-essential positions. So we still have to, our bread and butter of our business of what we do is when someone picks up 911, someone has to respond. That's our job, to provide the best service possible. So these positions will be filled from individuals that are in non-essential roles.
You mentioned the idea that right now all high schools and middle schools are covered. Is there a shortfall currently in elementary schools and charter schools in terms of coverage with security? And if so, how great is that?
There's certainly a shortfall. There's 176 individual security law enforcement personnel that we'll have to fill. So it's certainly a tremendous burden that we've been working closely. It was important for us not to be the first ones in front of the cameras, but to work diligently to come up with a solution that we could all digest and agree and commit to. And I couldn't stand more proud of in front of you today to tell you that we're confident in our plan and how proud I am of how well we all work together to come up with this plan.
Yeah, if you can speak a little bit to that, where we're seeing some of the other counties and other jurisdictions where the school districts and the sheriff's office are butting heads a little bit. How important is it that, things seem to be getting along better here?
I don't know if I feel comfortable commenting anything more than to tell you that I cherish the community relationships that we have with our partners here, from the county commission to the Hillsborough County School Board, to the superintendent, to the local municipality chiefs of police, the mayors. We have a unique dynamic of elected and community officials here in Hillsborough County, and I couldn't be more proud to be a part of it.